Yes, hello, my name is John Rosebush. I've been working on this new energy invention for about 9 years. For the last 6 months, I've been trying to bring it to the world. Been trying to get engineers and scientists and world leaders to pay attention to what this new energy invention can do. I've posted, I don't know, hundreds and maybe thousand posts. I've made dozens of videos. And what I've tried to do is get someone to validate this new energy invention that is respected around the world. And mainly it was GE and Siemens. And I've taunted them on the different platforms. It's kind of funny that they are that afraid of what I've invented. I don't understand it. I have so many world leaders. I have all the Department of Energy in the United States, Army Corps of Engineers connected with me. They're all paying attention. The Department of Energy of UK and so many scientists, engineers over there. And with all the issues that are going on in the world, look at California. Water shortage is terrible. Look at China, the smog issues, India, Mexico City, even Paris, France, driving every other day. We know that we have oil shortages. My goodness sakes, we're using almost 32 billion barrels a year now. I mean, we're not. That's not going to last long. And we brag about, creating so much energy in the United States. The North Dakota, South Dakota oil find 7.5 billion barrels. That's less than a 3 month real oil demand. That's how little and how insignificant that is. Same with uh, down in the Gulf of Mexico, 49 billion barrels. Well, that is a year and a half supply of oil. So, we can't drill our way out of the problem. All the different issues that we're having water shortages all over the world. It isn't just California. China, India, so many places in the world have major water shortages. So, I would think somebody would want to see this new energy invention validated. Now, I realize that it's going to change everything because it's so powerful. It would change the way we think about producing energy in the future. There's no doubt. I believe I can create energy for $100 million a gigawatt. Now, that is so cheap, it's unbelievable. That's like saying I can replace all the nuclear plants because most of them produce about 2 gigawatts for $200 million. Clean, eco friendly alternative energy. Or let's use another example. I think for $110 million, I can produce 1.1 terawatts of energy, which is exactly what the United States uses today. For $110 billion. That means all nuclear plants, coal plants, natural gas plants, diesel generated in Hawaii, everything gone. Just gone. Don't need them. And this new energy invention is very easily expandable. We can back it up. It reduces our long distance grids. It changes everything. Everything that we know today about energy. It actually will revolutionize everything in the world. And I believe I can do it in most of the world, if not all. That's how powerful this thing is. Now, someone might say, well, gosh, what are we going to do with all these people? Well, let's see. We're going to have to decommission all these different types of energy that we have today. That will take a huge amount of effort if we're going to do this right and not just do it on the cheap like we do everything else. Cheaper to dump our waste in the Pacific Ocean than to actually, you know, dispose of it properly. Cheaper to for China to build so many factories, so much small people can't even see. But again, do it on the cheap, as cheap as we can. We exploit jobs over there, cheap as we can. Everything's on the cheap, and it's because we're being driven by such short-term thoughts and people thinking short-term that it's destroying our planet, literally destroying our planet. So if we're going to be able to produce energy this cheap, we ought to prioritize all the other things that need to be done, which would mean actually convert maybe some of them oil barges that we won't be needing because we can also power transportation with this that cheap 25, 50 cents a gallon to clean up the damn waste that we put in the Pacific Ocean, shut down the nuclear plants, and actually put the dang nuclear waste in a storage facility that's safe instead of storing it everywhere on all our nuclear sites. It's okay if we keep one nuclear site, so that way we can continue to learn about it. The ITR fusion projects, the inertial confinement fusion projects with magnetics and mirrors and lasers and $16 billion spent in France. We need to continue working on that to see if what kind of result. But right now it's unsuccessful. I know this new energy invention works, and that's why all these people are afraid. It's kind of hilarious to me. I put these things out on the internet, and you got GE and Siemens literally hiding underneath the desk. They're scared, frightened, and yet they got the attention of the world leaders and the president of the United States. It's kind of hilarious. And when this actually does get reconciled and this new energy invention does come to light, you'll see how ridiculous it is. I'm literally, I'm not ashamed of people that, don't think that this will work, but to not actually step up and validate it really does show a lack of lack of intelligence even. It's shameful. I realize people are afraid of what this is going to do to the economies. Well, they should be, because I believe that it will bankrupt everything. But that's okay. We can start that over again. But what we can't do is continue on the path that we're on, because it will destroy mankind. In the next 25, 30 years, there'll be nuclear wars if we don't stop. People are going to have energy shortages that are dramatic. They're not going to know what to do. We'll have wars, everything else. We're polluting our world so bad. This fracking that's going on. I worked for an oil company for 25 years. I'll tell you exactly what's going on. It's kind of like wringing out a mop with the fossil fuels in the ground. In other words, putting so much pressure down there, they're mixing our fossil fuels with water. We're seeing it in Texas. My God, you can light a hose of water on fire. It's going to happen everywhere. And in the eastern part of the United States, it's going to be horrible. They're going to pollute our aquifers, probably the Great Lakes and many of the other large aquifers. That's where all the people live. And we're allowing this to go on. I don't understand why people around the world are not stepping up and saying, hey, look, if this man's got a solution, let's do it. It doesn't matter what happens. Let's do it. This is about young people. And it's also about correcting all the inequities in the world. That's why I'm having so many issues. 10% of the people own 85% of the wealth around the world, including the United States and Europe. This is bogus. I mean, for what reason? And these people think this is good, that own all this wealth. Well, I'm telling you, when things get scarce enough, they'll be the first ones to go, because people are not going to put up with this much longer. Not when average Americans, and you start taking away, continue, and continue taking away for false reasons. And China, your people will friggin' die of smog here pretty soon. 20% of your land you can't farm anymore. That should tell you something. It's got to stop. You're not going to become the economic dominance of the world. If you are, it won't be very long. I don't get any of this. I'm asking for simple validation. And everybody runs scared. I mean, even today now, I got a comment about, how wind energy, I should be computing in hours instead of just playing gigawatts or megawatts or kilowatts, because that way it sounds more impressive. Well, it's because he's influenced by his job. The engineer is. He that's his business, and he thinks he's going to make money at it. Well, that's how everybody thinks. And that's why there's been no honesty with what's going on. That's why we continue to get these contracts for wind energy, which is the most inefficient energy source in the world today. Solar is right behind it. So, this is all crazy. So what I'm asking for is simple. Step up and validate this energy invention. If not, it's going to come out anyway, sooner or later here. I'm working with a couple people right now that are very wealthy that would like to go forward. I am attempting to bring the world leaders together so they understand how big of an impact this is going to be. When I mention $100 million a gigawatt. I mean $100 million a gigawatt. That might be too high. So that's how reasonable this is. You know, instead of worrying about all the negative effects, let's think about the positive effects. Let's think about this thing could create enough energy so cheap in California. We could build hydrogen plants right next to it. You know, produce hydrogen from electricity and some water, and produce so much fresh water that they could have lakes down there if they wanted, let alone be out of water. Same with China and India. Our poor countries. You know, this thing will produce so much energy in Africa. Every single country will. There'll be abundance of energy around the world, around the entire world. Energy will be off the table as any issue that we ever thought of. It'll be gone. And actually, energy will be so cheap, we won't even be thinking about it. We'll be thinking about what we can do with the energy. Right now, we spend all our time trying to produce energy. Now, we'll have all the energy that we'll ever need. We now think about all the wonderful things we could do if there was an abundance amount of energy. Those things are possible. Not only possible, likely. And no more pollution. Maybe we can't stop climate change completely, but we can sure put a hell of a dent in it. You know, right now our ice caps are melting. You know, on the mountains, the Arctics are melting. We don't know how far it's going to go, but you know, it's getting dangerous. This will stop all that, but it needs to be a priority. You know, if I show this energy invention and we want to do it on the cheap again because of 10% of the people, you know, own so much of the wealth and their priorities are the hell with everybody else. Well, mankind didn't get this far. We didn't have all these wars and civil wars in the United States and around the world to allow a few greedy, complete corrupt systems, not only private but public, to destroy the future of mankind. Doesn't make sense. Now I'm asking for some total validation. That's all I need. That's why I asked GE and Siemens. You know why I asked GE and Siemens? Simple. I can protect that from them because I can say, hey, you can't sell generators without going through this new energy inventions, whatever the structure will be, corporate or whatever it's going to be, nonprofit, whatever. That will stop them from leaking what this new energy invention is long enough for me to bring the real leaders together so they can implement this in a way that benefits all of humanity, especially the poor and the middle class. Completely rebalance the entire world, change everything, change it all. Now, we either can do that or we can continue with what we're doing. Now, how many people in the world are actually happy with the way things are going? I mean, there's some scared people about their jobs or money or something, but how many people actually believe that polluting most of the Pacific Ocean, our Arctic and Antarctic are melting like crazy? We have droughts everywhere. We have water shortages everywhere. We're running out of oil. I mean, what else has to happen for the people to wake up? This is serious. This is the most serious thing that mankind is facing. How do we power our planet without fossil fuels? Because that's the key to climate change, to future, to sustainability, to everything in the world. Now, I invented this energy invention, and it can do what I say. You know, they're not used to operating with somebody like me. I'm very educated. I have a construction background, and so what do they say? If they want to knock me on my education, then they got to knock a major oil company. If they want to knock me on my construction, go right ahead. Isn't it kind of strange? I'm here. I'm making these videos. I'm ready to face anybody or anything about energy. I don't care how they could be a doctor of doctors for all I care. Because I know that they don't have a leg to stand on. You know, if we look at what we're deploying right now for alternative energy, all of it has dated back, a lot of it in the BC era. We've made no progress. No progress in new alternative energy. None. Windmills. Yeah, they were dated, you know, BC maybe. Dams, BC maybe. It's all old junk that they've improved upon, but it's not capable of powering our planet. It's just not capable of it. We all know that. Wind and solar make up about 3%, 4% of the entire, just the electricity, alternative electricity run. That's with all the crap we've already installed here over the last 4 or 5 years. Now, what? Don't forget, electricity, there's also transportation, which takes just about as much energy as the electricity. So we're going to go from, if we say it's 4% of electricity, it means it's 2% of total energy, including transportation. So we're going to go from 2% to 100%. Really? I don't think so. And dams have already been exploited. There ain't that many more places to put dams. I mean, really, there's nothing left. So for them not to look at what I've invented, because I haven't asked anybody for any money, think about it. Why am I not trying to rip off the world if I would, unless I was telling the truth about what I have? Now, people go, God, you might get killed because of oil companies or oil countries. No, they're smart enough to know they're running out of oil. They're no dummies. And by the way, the oil that they have will continue to be worth more and more because it's a resource that's been available to us, and we learn how to make all kinds of products out of it. Essential products to a modern society: asphalt, plastics, roof shingles, tires, you name it, makeup, women's makeup, believe it or not. There's over 7,000 products in the United States made from oil. So they're going to have a market for their oil. So the oil countries, they got nothing to lose. And they know. It's really the Western oil companies that, full of greed, that think that they need to control things. It's not the oil countries. So that's where we're at. We have, and that's where I'm at. I haven't been able to attract one law firm because of conflicts of interest and self-interest. I haven't been able to attract GE or Siemens. I actually haven't even been able to attract none of the governments. Oh, I've had some third world countries contact me. I've had a dozen hedge funds all excited about making a ton of money. Just, my goodness sakes, we could be trillionaires. But that's not a healthy world. And all the young people, they watch the video and they think, oh, well, he just, whatever, because GE and Siemens have decided to ignore me. Why? Because they're afraid. Because it doesn't cost anything to validate it. It's just all fear. It really, I would be totally cracking up laughing if I actually, if this wasn't so serious for the young people of this world, and for the poor, and for the middle class. Our world is headed for total destruction. Now, maybe people can't see it because they have no vision, but if you actually open your eyeballs and look around and see what's going on, there's already 1.5 billion people starving. I mean, just look at what China's facing. And they have, China's living on 1/4 the amount of water that is recommended for human daily use. 1/4. It's much worse than what people could imagine. Now, the world leaders, maybe they think we'll just have an apocalypse and somebody will survive. I don't think so. I mean, people need to understand. And if it would, it's not going to be like on TV. It's actually going to be worse. So, where are the intelligent people? Wake up. Contact me. Contact me, and I will, as long as this thing can get validated in such a way as that can protect its privacy, and 2, we can implement it in such a way that will benefit all of humanity, I will just continue to hold out. I hope that somebody listens to this video. I realize that this isn't mainstream, that I've went at this differently. My goal was to bring millions of people together to force this, but that hasn't happened. So the best I can do is what I'm doing. But I need some brave people. Europe is going to run out of fossil fuels in the next 5 years. All fossil fuels: coal, natural gas, and oil. Believe it or not, they may be producing a little bit, but essentially they're running out of fossil fuels. Now, that means they're going to buy all their fossil fuels again. The Middle Eastern countries, again, going to have to supply them, which they already are. But now they're going to have to supply all of it. I mean, things are going to get desperate. Every year that goes on, it's going to get worse and worse because there's no solution so far. Europe keeps bragging about, Germany, about how much energy they're producing from wind and solar. That's a bunch of crap. They're producing about 20%, and they're also installing more coal plants because of all the issues they're having. Europe's having blackouts and transformer blowouts everywhere, and it's all to do with this alternative energy that they're trying to implement. And they won't look at what I'm doing. I always thought the German scientists and engineers were smart, but no. I don't think they're smart. Not because they haven't been able to figure out what I have, but because they're unwilling to look at it. It shows literally completely ignorant ideas. For them not to step up and go, whoa, maybe we need to look at it. Be open-minded. That's what smart, intelligent people do. So I'm ashamed of them. GE, I'm totally ashamed of them. I'm recording this not just to talk to you, but for history. Because when this does come out, you'll understand what I'm saying and how ridiculous they look. I thank you for watching the video. This is an update that I thought I wanted to produce and put out there. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much.